The shocking betrayal, the message that changed everything. Welcome to Heartbound Ashes' channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The text message glowed on Maya Chen's phone at 11:47 p.m., 3 hours before her wedding day. 5 words that didn't make sense. 5 words from a number she didn't recognize. 5 words that would burn her world to ash. He's not who you think. Maya's hands trembled as she sat on the edge of her hotel bed, still wearing the silk robe her bridesmaids had gifted her. The rehearsal dinner had ended 2 hours ago. Champagne still fizzed in her blood. Her fiancé, Daniel Ashford III, had kissed her goodnight at the elevator with that smile, the one that had made her fall in love 3 years ago at a charity gala where she'd been serving hors d'oeuvres and he'd been the golden boy everyone wanted. She stared at the message. Her thumb hovered over the delete button. Then, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a photo. Daniel. In a restaurant she recognized, the Italian place downtown, Rossetti's. But this wasn't from months ago. She could see the reservation card on the table, yesterday's date. And he wasn't alone. A woman sat across from him, blonde and elegant, wearing a diamond ring that caught the candlelight. Their fingers were intertwined across the white tablecloth. But what made Maya's stomach drop wasn't the intimacy. It was the woman's face. She'd seen that face before. In Daniel's wallet, in frames at his parents' estate, in the background of his college photos he'd carefully cropped. Victoria Pemberton, his ex-fiancée, the one he said had moved to London 2 years ago after their amicable split. The one he claimed he barely thought about anymore. The one who was apparently very much in New York, wearing an engagement ring, holding his hand the night before his wedding. Maya's vision blurred. She tried to breathe, but her lungs wouldn't cooperate. The hotel room spun, the cream walls and gold fixtures bleeding together like a watercolor left in the rain. Another text arrived. The wedding tomorrow? It's not real. It's a show for his family. A performance so they'll release his trust fund. He needs to be married by 30. You were convenient. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but you deserve the truth. There's more. Meet me at Rossetti's tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Table under Pemberton. Come alone. Maya's phone slipped from her fingers onto the white duvet. She thought about the past 3 years, the whirlwind romance. Daniel sweeping into the catering company where she'd worked nights to pay for her business degree. Him asking her out, despite the obvious gulf between their worlds. Him with his old money family. Her with the student loans and the one-bedroom apartment in Queens. His parents had been cold at first, then warmer, accepting. His mother had even helped plan the wedding, though Maya noticed she controlled every detail. The guest list, the venue, the 7-tier cake Maya didn't even like. You'll thank me later, dear, Victoria Ashford had said with that thin smile. These things matter in our world. Our world. Maya had been so desperate to belong, she hadn't questioned why everything felt scripted. She stood and walked to the window, pressing her palm against the cold glass. New York sparkled below, indifferent to her breaking heart. Tomorrow, in 14 hours, she was supposed to walk down an aisle at St. Patrick's Cathedral in front of 400 people. She was supposed to say vows that would chain her to a lie. Her phone buzzed again. A video this time. She almost didn't watch it. Almost threw the phone across the room and pretended none of this was happening. But Maya had never been good at running from the truth. She pressed play. It was security footage from Rossetti's. Time stamped 7:43 p.m. yesterday. Daniel and Victoria at that same table, but earlier in the evening. The angle showed Daniel's face clearly. He was laughing, relaxed in a way Maya rarely saw him. He reached across the table and tucked a strand of Victoria's blonde hair behind her ear. An intimate gesture that made Maya's chest physically ache. Then Victoria leaned forward and whispered something. Daniel's expression changed, darkened. He glanced around the restaurant, then pulled out his phone. Maya watched him type something, his thumbs moving quickly. 15 seconds later, Maya's phone had buzzed with his text from last night. Miss you already. Can't wait to make you my wife tomorrow. I'm the luckiest man alive. In the video, Daniel showed Victoria the message. They both laughed. Victoria said something Maya couldn't hear, but she could read her lips well enough. She actually believes you love her. The video ended. Maya stood frozen, her reflection ghost pale in the window. Behind her, the wedding dress hung on the closet door like a white tombstone. She'd spent 6 months' salary on that dress. She'd starved herself to fit into it. She'd imagined walking down the aisle, imagined Daniel's face when he saw her, imagined this being the beginning of everything beautiful. She'd been imagining a fairy tale while living in a con. Her phone buzzed one final time. Another message from the unknown number. I know you're hurting. I know you want to scream. But Maya, and yes, I know your name, you have 2 choices. You can walk down that aisle tomorrow and let them win. Let him use you and discard you when the trust fund clears. Or you can meet me tomorrow morning and I'll tell you everything. And then we can make them pay for what they've done. The choice is yours, but choose quickly. You have 12 hours until you become Mrs. Daniel Ashford. 12 hours until it's too late. Maya looked at her reflection in the dark window, at the girl who'd believed in love, at the woman who'd been played for a fool. Something cold and sharp crystallized in her chest. Not grief, not anymore. Rage. Pure, clarifying rage. She picked up her phone, her hand steady now, and typed a single word. Tomorrow. The response came immediately. Good. Bring the prenup he made you sign. And Maya? Where's something powerful? We're going to war. Maya walked to the closet and looked at the wedding dress one last time. Then she opened her suitcase and pulled out the red dress she'd bought for the honeymoon in Bali. The one Daniel said was too bold, too attention-seeking, not appropriate for an Ashford wife. She hung it on the closet door, replacing the white lie with the red truth. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., she would meet the woman her fiancé truly loved. But tonight, Maya Chen had 12 hours to plan something Daniel Ashford and his perfect family would never see coming. Revenge, she decided, should be served at a wedding. Her wedding, the one he'd so carefully orchestrated, the one she was about to burn to the ground. Heartbreak and revenge, the alliance of broken hearts. Maya didn't sleep. She couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Daniel's face in that restaurant, laughing as Victoria mocked the fool he was about to marry. At 6:30 a.m., she showered in water so hot it hurt, scrubbing away 3 years of stupid trust. She dried her hair straight and severe, none of the soft curls Daniel preferred. She put on the red dress, silk and defiance, and a neckline that said she'd stopped apologizing. She looked like someone who'd survived a fire. Perfect. The prenup sat in her purse, barely 2 pages that essentially said if the marriage ended before 5 years, she got nothing. His family lawyers had presented it with smiles that never reached their eyes. Standard procedure, they'd said. Surely you understand. She'd signed it because she'd loved him. Because she'd believed love was enough. God, she'd been naive. Rossetti's was quiet at 7,055 am. The kind of restaurant that survived on dinner prices and lunchtime business meetings. The hostess led her to a corner table where a woman sat with her back to the wall, wearing Chanel and watching the door like a sentry. Victoria Pemberton was more beautiful in person. Porcelain skin, champagne blonde hair in a perfect chignon, the kind of effortless elegance that came from generations of wealth and private schools. She looked up as Maya approached, and something flickered across her face. Not guilt, but recognition. Two women who'd been played by the same man. Sit, Victoria said, her voice clipped and finishing school perfect. You came. I want answers. Maya slid into the chair across from her, refusing to feel small even though everything about Victoria screamed old money and superiority. I'll give them to you. Victoria pushed a manila folder across the table. But first, I need you to understand something. Daniel Ashford didn't choose you randomly. You were selected. Maya's hands clenched in her lap. What are you talking about? His trust fund. Victoria opened the folder, revealing pages of legal documents. His grandfather's will stipulated that Daniel had to be married by his 30th birthday, or the entire $40 million estate would pass to charity. His birthday is in 3 months. He needed a wife. Fast. And not just any wife. She pulled out a document with Maya's name at the top. A background check, education, employment history, credit score, family information, even a psychological profile. They wanted someone grateful, Victoria continued, her voice cold with controlled fury. Someone who wouldn't ask questions. Someone from outside their world who'd be so dazzled by the lifestyle she wouldn't notice she was being used. You checked every box. Maya felt sick. How long have you known? I found out 3 weeks ago. Victoria's perfect composure cracked slightly, showing the raw wound beneath. Daniel and I were together for 6 years. We were engaged. Then his mother found out my father's company was bankrupt. Suddenly, I wasn't suitable anymore. Daniel broke it off, said we wanted different things. 2 months later, I saw photos of you two at some gala looking so in love. Her voice turned bitter. It was a good performance. But yesterday, he called me. Victoria's hands trembled as she pulled out her phone, showing text messages. Said he'd made a mistake. Said once the trust fund cleared, he'd divorce you and come back to me. That it was always me. That you were just... She scrolled to a particular message and turned the phone so Maya could read it. Just a placeholder. A warm body to satisfy the lawyers. Maya read the words 3 times, each pass driving the knife deeper. She wanted to cry, to rage, to scream, but something colder had taken root inside her. Why are you telling me this? Maya asked quietly. What do you get out of warning me? Victoria's smile was sharp as broken glass. Because I loved him. For 6 years, I planned my life around Daniel Ashford. I picked out china patterns. I toured venues. I told my friends I'd found my forever. And then his mother decided I wasn't wealthy enough anymore, and he discarded me like trash. She leaned forward, eyes glittering. I want him to hurt the way he hurt me. And you, Maya Chen, are going to help me do it. How? You're going to marry him. Maya stared at her. Are you insane? Listen to me. Victoria pulled out more papers, bank statements, property deeds, account numbers. The trust fund releases 30 days after the marriage is legal. 30 days. If you divorce before then, you get nothing per your prenup. But if you stay married for 31 days, she smiled, and it was vicious. There's a clause in the trust that states once the funds are released, they can't be reclaimed even in divorce. The 30-day mark is the transfer point. Maya's mind raced. So if I stay married for 31 days and then divorce him, you're entitled to half of $40 million in the settlement. The prenup only covers the first 5 years if the marriage remains intact. But a divorce after the transfer point, before the 5-year mark, different rules apply. Community property laws. You'd walk away with $20 million. The number echoed in Maya's head, impossible and real. You've been planning this, Maya whispered. For 3 weeks, ever since I saw those text messages. Victoria's voice dropped, intimate and dangerous. I hired a forensic accountant. I found every loophole in that trust. I've been waiting for the right moment. And then I realized, why should I be the one to warn you? Why shouldn't you be my weapon? I don't want his money, Maya said. But the words felt weak even as she spoke them. Don't you? Victoria tilted her head. What's your student loan balance? How many years have you worked 2 jobs? How many times has Daniel made you feel small for not understanding wine menus or yacht terminology? She pushed a paper across the table, Maya's own financial records. You have $43,000 in debt. You work 60-hour weeks. You gave up the business you wanted to start because you couldn't afford to take the risk. Daniel's family spent more on orchids for the centerpieces than you've earned this entire year. Maya looked at the numbers, at the evidence of her own exhaustion. He used you, Victoria said softly, and it was the gentleness that broke something inside Maya. He took your trust, your love, your belief in a future, and he played you like a violin. So yes, take his money, take every penny, and make sure he knows exactly why he lost it. I still don't understand why you're helping me. Victoria's smile returned, colder now. Because Daniel needs to learn that women aren't disposable, that we don't just disappear when we're inconvenient, and because... She paused, something raw crossing her face. Because I want him to watch you walk away with everything, while I get to be the one who orchestrated his downfall. I can't have him anymore, but I can make sure he loses. Maya thought about the wedding dress hanging in her hotel room. The guests arriving in 8 hours. The life she'd imagined. All of it built on lies. What do I have to do? Victoria pulled out a new folder. This one thick, with plans and documents. You're going to marry him today. You're going to be the perfect wife for exactly 31 days. And you're going to document every lie. Every moment he's with me behind your back. Every piece of evidence we need to destroy him. Why 31 days? Because on day 32, you're going to file for divorce. And you're going to make sure everyone knows why. Victoria's eyes glittered. His family, his business partners, his social circle. Everyone who thinks Daniel Ashford is the golden boy. They'll all know he's just a liar who married a woman for money and cheated on her before the ink dried on the marriage license. And you? I'll make sure I'm photographed with him. A lot. I'll be the other woman who broke up the marriage. His reputation will be ruined. His mother's social standing will crumble. And you? Victoria smiled. You'll be the wronged wife who walks away with $20 million and the moral high ground. Maya looked at the plans, the evidence, the path to destruction Victoria had carefully mapped. She thought about Daniel's face in that restaurant, his laughter, his lies. She thought about the girl she'd been last night, trusting, hopeful, ready to pledge forever, to a man who saw her as a tool. That girl was gone. I have one condition, Maya said, her voice steady. When this is over, when we've taken everything from him, you disappear. You don't get him back. This isn't about winning him. This is about making sure he loses everything. Victoria studied her for a long moment, then extended her hand across the table. Deal. Maya shook it and felt the alliance seal like a contract written in broken hearts. One more thing, Victoria said as Maya stood to leave. That dress is perfect. Wear it to the wedding. This isn't a wedding dress. No, Victoria agreed, her smile sharp as a blade. It's a battle uniform. And Maya? Make them remember you wore red to your own funeral. Maya walked out of Rossetti's at 8:47 am, the morning sun hitting the red silk like flame. She had 7 hours until she became Mrs. Daniel Ashford. 7 hours until she walked into the trap he'd set. 7 hours until she became the trap instead. Her phone buzzed. Daniel, good morning, beautiful. Today's the day. I love you so much. Maya smiled, and it was nothing like the smile she'd worn yesterday. She typed back, I love you too. Can't wait to be your wife. Every word a lie. Every word revenge in waiting. Let the games begin. The ultimate payback. The wedding that broke the rules, St. Patrick's Cathedral, filled with 400 guests who came for a show. They wanted flowers and tears and the merging of two families. They wanted the Ashford legacy continuing, the poor girl lifted to greatness, the love story everyone could envy. Maya walked down the aisle in red, and she gave them something else entirely. Gasps rippled through the pews. Daniel's mother, Victoria Ashford, stood abruptly, her face white with shock and rage. The whispers started immediately. Wedding protocol, tradition, what was she thinking? But Maya kept walking, her eyes locked on Daniel at the altar. His expression was perfect confusion and concern. The devoted groom worried his bride had lost her mind. But Maya saw the flash of anger in his eyes, the tightening of his jaw. He hadn't expected her to deviate from the script. Good. When she reached him, he leaned in close, his voice low. What are you doing? Where's your dress? Maya smiled, the same smile she'd practiced all morning. This is my dress. Don't you like it? We'll talk about this later. His hand gripped her elbow, just tight enough to hurt, just gentle enough that no one else would notice. Let's just get through this. The ceremony proceeded with painful normalcy. The priest spoke words about love and commitment. Daniel recited vows he didn't mean. Maya repeated them back, each promise a countdown to his destruction. I do, she said, and meant, I'll destroy you. When Daniel kissed her, she tasted lies and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. The reception was held at the plaza, the ballroom decorated with those expensive orchids Victoria Ashford had chosen. Maya played her part perfectly, the grateful bride, the woman who'd won the prince. She smiled for photos, cut the cake, danced the first dance while Daniel held her like she was made of glass. You embarrassed me, he whispered as they swayed to the orchestra. Wearing red. My mother is furious. Is she? Maya met his eyes, her voice sugary sweet. I wanted to be memorable. You were supposed to be elegant, appropriate, like I told you. I'm your wife now, Daniel, not your employee. She let the words land softly, watched his face tighten. Shouldn't I be able to wear what I want? His grip on her waist tightened, bordering on painful. But they were surrounded by cameras, by guests, by the performance he needed to maintain. We'll discuss this later. I look forward to it. At 9 p.m., during the cocktail hour, Victoria Pemberton arrived. She wasn't on the guest list, but she walked in like she owned the place, wearing a white dress that made every head turn. Daniel's mother intercepted her immediately, trying to usher her out, but Victoria's voice carried across the ballroom. I'm so sorry to crash, but I had to congratulate the happy couple. Her smile was poisonous. Daniel and I go way back. Don't we, darling? Every eye turned to Daniel. His face had gone pale, then red. Maya watched him calculate, deny Victoria and look guilty, acknowledge her and admit to the lie. He chose the first option. I'm sorry, do I know you? He said it smoothly. The confusion so practiced Maya almost believed it herself. Victoria laughed, bright and cutting. Oh, Daniel, 6 years together and you don't know me? She turned to the crowd, to the cameras still rolling for the videographer. We were engaged. until his mother decided my family wasn't wealthy enough anymore. The ballroom erupted in whispers. Victoria Ashford tried to salvage the situation, but Victoria Pemberton had planned this moment carefully. She pulled out her phone, projecting images onto the ballroom screen. Daniel and Victoria at restaurants, on vacation, in bed together, with timestamps from the last 3 months, including yesterday. Maya stood perfectly still, her face a mask of betrayal and shock. It wasn't hard to fake. Part of her was genuinely devastated by the public humiliation. But another part, the part Victoria Pemberton had helped forge, felt triumphant. Let them see. Let them all see what Daniel Ashford truly was. You bastard, Maya whispered, just loud enough for the microphones nearby to catch. You've been cheating on me this whole time? Daniel grabbed her arm. Maya, this is insane. She's lying, am I? Victoria walked closer, her heels clicking on marble. Should I show them the texts? The ones where you told me this marriage was just about the trust fund? Where you called your wife a convenient placeholder? The room went silent. Even the orchestra had stopped playing. Daniel's mother moved forward, trying to control the damage. This is a private family matter. There's nothing private about fraud, Maya said, and her voice carried clear and cold across the ballroom. She pulled out her phone, connecting it to the projector. Since we're sharing secrets tonight, let me share mine. She showed them everything Victoria had given her. The background check they'd run on her. The prenup designed to leave her with nothing. The text messages between Daniel and Victoria, planning his return to her after the trust fund cleared. I was supposed to be the fool, Maya said, looking directly at Daniel. The girl's so grateful for your attention. She wouldn't ask questions. So dazzled by this world, she wouldn't notice she was being used. She stepped back, addressing the entire room now. The society families, the business partners, the media who'd already started streaming this on social media. Daniel Ashford married me for $40 million. He needs a wife to access his trust fund, and he needed someone disposable, someone he could throw away when he was done. She smiled, and it was razor sharp. But here's the interesting thing about being underestimated. People forget you might be smart enough to fight back. She pulled out the final document, the trust fund clause Victoria had found, the one that said Maya was entitled to half if she divorced after the 30-day transfer point. So here's what happens next, Maya continued, her voice steady. I'm going to stay married to Daniel for exactly 31 days. And then I'm going to divorce him and take $20 million. Not because I'm a gold digger. I didn't know about the trust fund until yesterday. But because that money is my compensation for being lied to, for being used, for being treated like a prop in someone else's play. Daniel lunged for her, rage breaking through his careful composure. You can't, I can. Maya stepped back, and security, hired by Victoria, already positioned, moved between them. And I will. Because you taught me something valuable, Daniel. Love is a commodity to people like you. So let's treat it like one. She turned to face the crowd, these people who'd come to celebrate a lie. The reception is over. But the marriage? She looked back at Daniel, at his mother, at the life they tried to force her into. The marriage continues for exactly 31 days. And then I'm going to walk away with everything you tried to steal from me. My dignity, my self-respect, and yes, $20 million. She dropped the microphone, literally dropped it, because this was theater now, and she was the star. Maya, Daniel's voice cracked. You can't do this. I already did. She walked toward the exit, the red dress flowing behind her like flame. Enjoy your wedding night, husband. It's the most expensive one you'll ever have. Victoria Pemberton waited by the door, a smile on her perfect face. She didn't say anything, just handed Maya an envelope as she passed. Inside was a key card to a hotel room and a note, 31 days. Don't lose your nerve. Maya walked out of the plaza and into the New York night, the sound of chaos erupting behind her. Tomorrow, this would be on every gossip site, every news channel. The Ashford family's carefully constructed image would be in ruins. And she'd be the woman in red who crashed her own wedding and walked away with $20 million. Maya Chen climbed into the waiting car Victoria had arranged, and for the first time in 24 hours, she let herself breathe. Where to? The driver asked. Maya looked at the envelope, at the key card, at the life she was choosing. The beginning, she said. Drive me to the beginning of 31 days. The car pulled away from the plaza, from the wreckage of the wedding, from the man who thought she'd be easy to use and easier to discard. But revenge, Maya had learned, was never about the destruction. It was about what you built from the ashes. And she was just getting started. #epilogue, the crown she earned day 32, arrived with autumn rain and legal documents. Maya signed the divorce papers in a lawyer's office that overlooked Central Park, the same park where Daniel had proposed on one knee with the ring his mother had chosen. Victoria Pemberton sat beside her, no longer an ally, not quite a friend, but something else. A fellow survivor. The divorce was clean, public, devastating. $20 million transferred to Maya's account at 3:47 p.m. Daniel fought it, of course. His lawyers tried everything, claiming fraud, emotional distress, manipulation, but every text message, every document, every witness Victoria had carefully collected proved the same thing. Daniel Ashford had married Maya Chen for money, lied about his intentions, and been caught. The trust fund couldn't be reclaimed once distributed. The prenup didn't cover divorce after the 30-day window. The settlement was ironclad. Maya watched the numbers appear in her account and felt nothing but tired. The media had called her everything: gold digger, scorned woman, criminal mastermind. His family tried to paint her as a villain who'd planned this from the start. But the evidence spoke louder than their spin. She'd been used. She'd fought back. She'd won. What will you do now? Victoria asked as they left the lawyer's office, rain misting their faces. I don't know. Maya looked up at the steel grey sky. Open the bakery I always wanted. Travel. Breathe without pretending. And Daniel? Maya thought about the man she'd married. The one who'd smiled as he lied, who'd held her hand while planning her disposal. Daniel gets to live with knowing he created his own destruction, that he underestimated me so completely he handed me the weapons to destroy him. She smiled, and it was lighter now, no longer sharp. That's revenge enough. Victoria nodded. They stood there a moment. Two women who'd been broken by the same man and rebuilt themselves stronger. Thank you, Maya said quietly, for the warning. Thank you, Victoria replied, for having the courage to burn it all down. They parted ways at the corner, Victoria toward her penthouse, Maya toward a new apartment in Brooklyn she'd bought with her first settlement check. No doorman, no marble, no pretending, just space to become whoever she wanted to be. 3 months later, Maya opened Chen's Bakery in the West Village. Small, warm, filled with the scent of cardamom and rising bread. She hired people from her old neighborhood, people who needed second chances. The society pages stopped writing about her. The gossip died down. She became ordinary again. And it felt like freedom. One morning, as she pulled a tray of croissants from the oven, the door chimed. She looked up, flour on her hands, and there stood a man. Not Daniel, someone else. Someone with kind eyes and an honest smile. I heard you make the best chocolate bread in the city, he said. I do, Maya replied, wiping her hands on her apron. But it's expensive. He laughed. How expensive? Cost me $20 million to learn the recipe. He blinked, confused, then recognition crossed his face. Wait, I am, Maya said, cutting him off gently. But I'm also just the baker. So, do you want the bread or not? He studied her for a moment, seeing past the headlines, past the scandal. Just the bread, he said. And maybe your story, if you're willing to share it. Maya smiled, the kind of smile she'd forgotten she could make. Genuine, unguarded, free. The story costs extra. I can afford it. She wrapped the bread, and when their fingers touched across the counter, it felt nothing like Daniel's calculated touches. It felt like possibility. I'm Maya, she said. I'm James. He took the bread, then hesitated. Do you believe in second chances? Maya thought about the girl in the white dress who'd trusted too easily, about the woman in red who'd learned to fight, about all the versions of herself she'd been, and the one she was becoming. I believe in better choices, she said, and I'm getting better at making them. James smiled. Then maybe I'll come back tomorrow? Maybe you should. He left, and Maya returned to her bread, to the oven's warmth, to the life she'd built from the ashes of someone else's lies. The woman Daniel had tried to use was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, wiser, done apologizing for taking up space. And if that was revenge, living well, choosing herself, building something real, then Maya Chen would take it. Every single day.